All right, we're here at the John Cordisco Gym here at Conwell Egan High School as Prendie takes on Conwell Egan. I'm Dan Connor. Joined here with Shane Morrow and Steve Slifka, who will join us in just a little bit. So this is our first game at home here. How does not have a
So we already know that Cole Zalewski is a sniper from behind the arc. He's amazing at shooting threes, but pretty much Conwell Egan is just going to need to have someone to kind of fill in that role, that shooting role, because without him, we're just going to need someone to, get behind the arc, get an open shot, and add some points to that score.
I was sending down to Dave Luby now for our national anthem.
Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God, let me play well, but fairly. Help me to learn something that matters once the game is over. Let competition make me strong, but never hostile. Always let me help my opponent up. Never catch me rejoicing in the adversity of others. If I know victory, allow me to be happy. If I am denied, keep me from envy. Remind me that sports are just games. And through athletics, I set an example. Let it be a good one. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. Monsignor Bonner, pray for us. Bishop Egan, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. We ask that you remain standing, and veterans and active service personnel, we encourage you to salute the colors as we play our national anthem.
All right, and as this is our first PCL game that we have seen at home since the new year, how do you think tonight's game is? How important is tonight's game in a broader context in regard to Conwell Egan's form here this season?
So, this is a PCL matchup. It's definitely a good rivalry between the two. This game is very important because, it's a PCL matchup. You want to make those playoffs. A win is a win. A loss is a loss. You can't take those things lightly. You got to take this game serious. So we definitely have a serious game today. And this game, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a pretty rough game today.
All right, and you can't underestimate the strengths of this Bonner Prendie team, but do you think that home court advantage will be in favor of Conwell Egan here tonight?
Yeah, this crowd and this bench, they're usually very electric. I think we're going to see a lot of support from the bench and a lot from the sideline as well.
Sounds great. We'll take it down to our public address announcer, Dave Luby, as we have our announcement of our starters.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for your Conwell Egan Catholic Eagles. A sophomore guard, 5'9", number 0, Jared Velez. A 6'3", sophomore forward, number 23, Brayden Martin. A sophomore guard 6'3", number 4, Miles Moore. A junior center 6'7", number 24, Justin Bob. And a 6'1" senior guard, captain number 13, Antoine George. Bengals,
All right, ready for opening tip-off here. It will be Antoine, excuse me, it will be Justin Bob at center court for the opening tip-off. 8-minute quarters here in varsity basketball, and it's won here by Bono Prendie. Prendie in their green and gold uniforms. It's fired over the near way, sent back far across there to Nelson. Nelson drops it off there to Jackson, who moves to his right, and then fires it into the right corner just in front of the Egan bench. This one dropped down low there. It's into the hands there of Jackson, and then the shot comes off that dances it around the rim back out and allows the Eagles to take control. Moving up there with it on the far side and slowing things down is Antoine George. George holding, dishes it off there to Miles Moore, dances to his right, and then drops it back off now to Velez. So Velez getting more playing time over the past few weeks with that injury to Cole Zaletsky. Moving along there now. Dropping it off again there to Miles Moore, and they're just going to play this roundabout game that they got going on here with 7:12 to go. This one giving off to Velez. Back there now to Braden Martin. Martin holding, trying to find Antoine George. He's able to do so as George calms the play down. Antoine George moving up there to the right-hand side, and then it's eventually gathered to help this back out there to Martin, who takes the three that dances off the rim and back out. And with that, we're going to have a whistle and a stoppage of play with 6:52 to go.
Just by this first drive from Conwell, Egan, you can tell what kind of game this is going to be. The Bonner bench is really excited. They're playing around a lot of perimeter defense. So personally, I think Conwell Egan should start getting on that cut, get an easy pass for an easy layup. So right now, you just see a lot of electrification from this bench from Bonner. And, you know, Connor, the Conwell Egan bench is just, looking kind of sloppy right now. So we just want to see some better support from the bench players.
High school score
I agree with
6:25 to go. This one dropped off the near way to Jackson. And you definitely need support from your bench here when you are playing this a difficult team that may have the upper advantage on you, but that could change well easily as they find their first basket of the game, and it's 2-0 with 6:05 to go. This one moves along there now to Miles Moore. Moore comes up, and he'll not be able to answer the basket as that one dances off the outside of the rim and gives control there to Francis. Francis drops one down low, and there's another basket. That one coming off the hands there of Jordan. Steve, we saw some slower play in the beginning of the quarter. And we're seeing things speed up a little bit. How's this going to affect Egan's game?
Well, we just need to have more energy throughout the game. The energy on the bench of Bonner has been great. We just need to do the same on Egan's bench.
All right, so 5:41, and both our color commentators agreeing that the bench needs to get more involved here, and it is quiet down there with the men sitting in blue. Moving back out now with it is Francis. Francis moving over, this one into the far corner. Trying to dance in further there was Hargrove, but then he'll give it back off to Francis, who gives it off to Nelson and gives it right back. Francis looking, he's being protected well there by George. It's intercepted as he goes back down the other way. George fires one up, and there we go. It's 4-2, and the Eagles are on the board. Moving back down with it now is Bonner Prendie with it. It's dished over there to Jackson. Jackson gets it right back, and it'll pass this one into the corner and race it towards the net as his counterpart, Jackson, as it's given back out now to Nelson. Nelson trying to dance in, but he's outmanned there, but he's able to find his player through a hole, as this one's going to come all the way back out now and out of play. Holding there now is Bonner Prendie. Prendie giving it over there to Jackson. Jackson trying to find an open lane. 4:35 to go here in this first quarter. 4-2 is our score. Giving direction out there is Jackson. 4.5 minutes to go. Moving up towards that there is Nelson. This one dropped back down in front to Francis, but his shot goes off the outside of the rim, and now allows the Eagles to go up with it on the opposite side. And Todd George, he gives it off to Moore, takes a triple shot that hits off the outside of the rim, and this one booted along, but it's going to be played there by Bonner. Jackson holding. Calling for is McClendon, and then we will see a stoppage of play with 4:04 here to go. Guys, is there any players on this Conwell Egan team that contribute in maybe less obvious ways? You know, maybe through ball movement or communication. Who is that? Maybe not so much the underdog, but the player that we don't hear from as much.
We don't hear a lot from Jared Velez a lot. He's not really scoring a lot in games, but we see his absolute elite defense, especially around the perimeter.
I totally agree with Shane here. Jared Velez, he just been in the couple past games from the injury of Cole Zaleski, who we see here on the sideline.
All right, Jared Velez, yes, definitely moves that ball well. We don't see him taking a whole lot of shots as he passes that one off to Martin that dances around and out. 4-2 remaining, 3.5 minutes to go. Both teams struggling to find a basket here in the latter part of this quarter. 2 fouls thus far for Bonner Prendie, or check that for the Conwell Egan Eagles, none for Bonner Prendie. As they're moving up with it, there's Nelson. He's blocked out. He gathers the rebound, though, and he's going to fire this one off. And once again, and one opportunity. It's 6-2 with 3:11 to go.
The men in blue on the bench looking like men in despair right now after Bonner just gets some easy buckets, especially in the paint. Sean Tate, the coach, is very mad right now.
We need to rebound better. Our rebounding, we need to box out.
Trying to make this 7-2 is Nelson, and he's not able to, as this one's gathered along now by Braden Martin. Martin, now this is up the right-hand side, and Miles Moore is going towards the net, but Nelson is able to deflect this one out of his hand and stop play with 3:06 to go. Something that this Bonner Prendie team is able to do really well is come from backcourt and up to prevent a shot and enforce these interceptions on the inbound. As we see Jackson coming up with it and another foul down on the other end. A lot of fouls thus far. Shane, how does Conwell Egan correct that? Because they are starting to let it get to them, and it's going to hurt them sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's definitely hurting them. Conwell Egan, we're seeing a lot of defense play with their hands, not with their feet. They need to shuffle more. They need to shuffle, get in front of that ball, stop the ball before it gets into that paint.
7-2 here now with 2:58 to go. Conwell Egan just one foul away, rather, from the max of a quarter. Egan coming into the night 8-5 overall. Bonner Prendie 11-3. Conwell Egan and Bonner Prendie both 3-2 against PCL competition. One for two there on the foul shots. That allows Miles Moore to gather and then dish it off there to Herbie. Herbie gives it back there to Isaiah Johnson, who gives it off to Antoine George, who gives it back now to Herbie, who's moving up with the ball. He takes it in the paint area, slows down, fires one up towards the net. Rebound is hauled in by Bonner Prendie as they race back down the other way. They fire one up, and it's another shot there that's good for them. It's 9-2 and a timeout here by Coach Tate. And with that timeout, we'll take a timeout. Back here, 2:29.92 is our score right now. 4 fouls for Conwell, Egan, none for this Bonner Prendie team. Moving up there with the ball now is Conwell, Egan is Anton George in control. George getting some direction as they'll be moving down low, and then they're playing the catch there as George is going to have it over the right-hand side, and then tries to get a pass off. That's going to go off of Bonner Prendie and move back up. Isaiah Johnson is not in position according to Coach Tate, and that allows Bonner Prendie to put 2 more on the board, and they take 11-2 lead. Anton George holding the ball right now. He's looking and waiting. And back out. Isaiah Johnson with it. Johnson, George. George waiting. Gives it to Irby, who's going to try to find it. Irby moving over with it. He dances back to the left, Braden Martin, who takes a shot that's not in by Isaiah Johnson. He'll give it back out down the mark. Antoine George, who takes a shot, but he's all right, it's 11-3 now. Here, Bonner Prendie in control out with it. They're holding or trying to dance out, able to do so. Is Varsity intercepted. Miles Moore back down. Here's one off and punches. Coach Tate get it. 55 seconds to go here. As I drop back out, and it's eventually going to along it right back. Nelson moving up with it. He takes it 14-5 with 30. Martin in control of the ball now. And with it, Martin fires on up with that one is out of play with 21 seconds. There's a shot, another finder. With 14-5 still. There's a find its way. We're got a 18 seconds. 5 still.
Ladies and gentlemen, Senior Bonner Friars 14.
All right, so we end up here. It is 14-5. Shane, what does this Conwell Egan team need to do defensive-wise to kind of tighten things up a little bit? Second quarter a little bit.
Yeah, you can see Conwell Egan kind of like crumbling and struggling, especially on offense. But talking about defense, Conwell Egan just needs to be tight more in the paint. They're going on the perimeter more on the arc, but I don't really see why. They're kind of just falling in under that paint, and they're letting Bonner Prendie just get easy shots. So yeah, I would just say play more defense in the paint, kind of play like a zone defense, not so much man defense.
Coach Tate, you make that to the main defense.
adjustment to
Play a little bit more zone or vice versa. What adjustments do you make to your offense? Excuse me, if anything.
Yeah, for offense, I would definitely just say just move the ball around better. Try to move the ball around better. Some couple blocks, couple steals, and yeah, like I said earlier, Conwell Egan, especially on offense, they're kind of just crumbling under the pressure from Prendie's bench and their really good defense.
Iron goes to 14-5. Conwell Egan is trailing. Hi, Conwell Egan control the ball. Antoine George holding, gives it down. Look at Irving. 14-7. And Coach Tate missed as he's anticipating that outer Prendie High School. Moving along there now. Down. Leonard rushing towards the net to give it off to the side. Holding, looking, waiting. He fires it over into the corner, and it's good. And Bonner. Moving over there. Giving all to Antoine George. Leading. He's in direction for his team trailing. This will drop back over to the near side. And our way. Gathering a holding there now. There's a shot that comes off. Isaiah John over another three attempts coming here from Prendie. That's going to go.
I'm seeing some subs about to come in from Conwell Egan's bench, and this is a very good thing because Conwell Egan, especially on offense, they're looking very tired and just very under the pressure as a three banged corner.
Conwell Egan needs to change the momentum here.
17-10, down by Eek to
control this Bonner Prendie offense, something that they're going to have to tighten up. And then eventually taken here. Timeout call here. Prendie High School. And sad news came out yesterday as Mr. Baseball himself passed for the Milwaukee Brewers. Caster, that was one of the last was out there that you could by the sound of his voice. It is definitely going to Milwaukee Brewers family as the time continues.
This one dropped off now. Holding, waiting. There's Antoine George. George looking, fires it back out there to Isaiah Johnson. Here comes a shot off. The three's not going to go. And check that wasn't Johnson. It was Tyler Johnson, rather. And then this one is a play for the ball back underneath. That's going to allow Bonner Prendie to move back out with it the other way. It's into the hands there. Nelson, here comes a shot. The rebound is put back up. And it's 21-10. And 11-point difference now. This one dropped along. Fired over there to the far side. It's eventually given right back. Over there, too. Gathering and pushing up there right now is Antoine George. George holding the ball. He's giving some direction with his team down by 11 with 5:03 to go here in this second quarter of play. Moving along there with it now. Holding, waiting, rushing towards the net. Fires one up that finds its way in, and it's 21-12. Moving up with the ball there now is Francis. And Steve, you're a little bit closer to the bench than we are. Are you hearing anything different strategy-wise coming from Coach Tate?
I mean, I kind of hear the same thing as the first half. He's very frustrated, yelling, and just trying to get his team's momentum back in this game.
All right, there's a shot that comes from far out. That is totally misfired there. That allows Tyler Johnson to come back up with it the other way. Johnson fires it off to Antoine George. George holding his team down by 9. Giving out there to Miles Moore now. Moore moving up with the ball. Moore dancing in, and is a traveling violation there. And we'll have a sub here. Moving out there at the ball now is Jackson. Jackson has it with 4 minutes to go. Jackson fires it over to the near side to Scott. Scott gives it right off to Jackson, who gives it a little bit more direction. Moving up there with the ball and holding is number 5, Scott. And he takes a shot that's coming off of Nelson, and that puts Bonner up 23-12. Bonner Prendie, like Conwell Egan, at one point in time were 2 separate scores, or it's 2 separate schools rather, who merged in order to keep their school communities alive and open. Miles Moore holding with the ball now. Moore looking, dances over to the right-hand side, fires it over into the corner. Antoine George holding, flips this one up, and that one rolls in, and it's 23-14.
I think subbing Braden Martin in is definitely a good idea. Like we were saying earlier, Kozlowski's out. We need someone to fill in this role as kind of a shooter from the 3. And as we've seen from other games, Braden Martin can definitely fill in that role. He's an excellent shooter from the 3-point line.
Do you think you give Braden Martin a little bit more playing time versus Fowler Judge? Because that's going to be another tough game that we'll see here on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need to give Braden Martin some more playing time, especially against Judge, because Judge has, as we've seen from other games from them, they have a very good defense, and we're just going to need to get a lot of scoring. And to get a lot of scoring, you shoot threes. And we already know Braden Martin's excellent at that.
Another foul here against Conwell Egan's 23-14. Trying to add a little bit more distance in between them is Bonner Prendie. First shot there, hitting off the outside of the rim.
We see more substitutions here on the court. I think fresh legs in for this Conwell Egan team is what they need.
All right, Miles Moore moving up with the ball now. His team remains within 9. It is given out there to Braden Martin, who gives it right back off to Moore. Moore looking, attempt to fire back out, and it is a traveling call. Referee allowing Bonner Prendie's bench, telling Bonner Prendie's bench that he knows what's going on out there, and to sit back down as many of them jump to their feet during that traveling violation call. This one dropped back out. It's one-handed over and fired into the corner. Giving it right back there to Bonner Prendie, who dances this one back down low, holding and waiting there with the ball was Francis, and then this one fired over into the corner. And a shot coming off of Carroll there is going to find its way in. And now Bonner Prendie goes up by 11. 2 minutes to go here. 1 foul this quarter for Conwell Egan. So the foul game has been a little bit better, but they have to play a little bit tighter defense as that one's intercepted. Francis moving up with the ball now. He's able to stiff arm his way through. Fires one up, and they say on a foul. So that will be another 2 shots here at a Javerless foul.
So definitely Conwell Egan looking a little discouraged out here. You know, you accidentally turn over the ball or you get a foul, they get back on defense and they just let themselves crumble. They just need to get a little more confident here, get a little more hyped up so they can actually come back and get this win.
Antoine George finds his way back out there, and it's Francis with the ball now. Francis holding, fires this one up, and that one makes its way through. And it's 26-14 with 1:44 to go. This one fired off there now to Antoine George. George goes along near side. This one's one-handed down low, waiting, holding. Isaiah Johnson pushing towards the net. He gives it off to George. George faking a shot, then tries to one-hand this one along. It was blocked, but he's able to grab it back. Fires it over there into the corner. It's Isaiah Johnson with it now, who gives it back off to Antoine George. As Jared Velez is waiting out in front. This one-handed over to Isaiah now as he's going to push into the key area. He fires one up, and that basket's in and down by 10. A great way for you to stay in that play there as Bonner Prendie put up some great defense, but Conwell Egan able to get a basket off of that one. But then Bonner Prendie able to counter now back out the other way. Down to the final 52 seconds to go here in this first quarter of play. Or first half to play, rather. It is given off down to Jared Velez. Velez moving up with it. Gives it off there to Isaiah Johnson. Johnson moving over to the far way. Dishes it off there to Antoine George. And it's given off to Tyler Johnson, number 10, with 30 seconds to go. This one brought back over now to Jared Velez. Velez looking, gives it back over to Antoine George as Velez gives some direction, but he doesn't move far. Down to the final 20 seconds. Giving off to Velez there again. This one dished back over to the near side to Antoine George. And Antoine George is going to run the clock out a little bit here at 9 seconds and 8 seconds to go. Antoine George rushing up. He sends a shot off the rebound. Gathered there by Isaiah Johnson. And we will end here with 28-18. So, Steve, we know we can't see you down there as you're in the mix of the crowd, but what do you think Conwell Egan needs to do a little bit better going into this second half to get themselves back into this one?
They definitely need to take better shots. Their shots aren't connecting as we've seen in previous games they were. So whatever Coach Tate is going to tell them in this locker room, what I would tell them is just take better shots and don't foul as much.
Hi, Steve. Thank you. And we are back here in your Eagle Eye Network. We're a little short-handed tonight. Game on Sunday. There's not a whole lot of availability always as we're spread thin just a bit. But even with that, we'll still provide you with the best broadcast that we possibly can here tonight. It's a shame we got to watch that first half. Conwell Egan only trailing by 10 right now. What do you think they need to fix going into the second half?
Yeah, like I said earlier, definitely defense in the paint. They're just getting overpowered. Even with the height they have on this team, somehow they're just keep getting overpowered and just letting some easy buckets come up. And that's kind of just like what's making them falling through and just letting Bonner Prendie just dominate them so far.
Are there any weaknesses that you see right now coming from this Bonner Prendie team that this Conwell Egan team could take advantage of in the second half?
Definitely ball movement. And like they are completing passes, but what I'm seeing so far is sloppy passes that are somehow being made. And when I'm watching it, I'm kind of just like, how is that being made? I feel like Conwell Egan can just easily get a steal. Maybe just make that defense fall in on themselves, collapse, and just get an easy steal and drive up the court.
All right, and something that you talked about was getting the bench into it. The bench got into it a little bit when Conwell Egan was down by a lot. The crowd is starting to get into it a little bit more. It's probably the loudest that we have heard so far here with Conwell Egan this year. How does the crowd shape this team's momentum going into the second half?
Yeah, like in the first quarter of the game, actually, Bonner was just dominating Conwell Egan. And in my opinion, I think it's definitely because of the Bonner bench and the crowd just getting super hype. Chanting defense, chanting offense, just helping the crowd. So Conwell Egan, the crowd work definitely needs to improve. I mean, it's improved so far, but if they really want to win, I think we need a lot more excitement from the crowd. And we already have seen flashes of what they can do when the crowd is and the bench is really excited to see what's going on.
All right, sounds great. We'll take a break here on your Eagle Eye Network, and when we come back. All right, we're back here on your Egan Network getting ready for the second half of play here. All right, Shane, what role does off-ball movement play? Or what role will off-ball movement play create open shots for Egan here in the second half?
Definitely like cutting, running across the baseline, just sitting under the net, waiting for an open pass. You can just overpower everyone, especially if you're, over 6 foot tall and you have that strength. You can just easily overpower someone and get an easy bucket. That can create a lot of open shots and a lot of shots made, so we can, further, decrease this loss right now.
All right, Chapter. In that first half, how do you think fatigue will affect both teams here in the second half?
Yeah, so right now, especially in the first half, Prendie was looking very energized, not really fatigued at all. I didn't really see many subs come off either. They were playing great, but Conwell, a lot of subs, just a lot of heavy breathing, and it looked pretty bad for Conwell. But, I think just some more momentum, and Conwell can definitely come back.
Sounds great. And Braden Martin with the ball now. He's going to dish it off there to Jared Velez, and Egan trailing right now 30-18 as we begin this second half of play. Moving up with the ball there now is Braden Martin. Braden Martin gets off to Jared Velez, but Velez just steps out. And now it's going to be the Friars' ball. Moving out there with the ball. That basket's made. It's 32-18 with 7.5 to go. And we see a timeout already here with 7:29 to go. And with that, we'll take a quick timeout here on your Eagle Eye Network.
We also want to wish a happy birthday to one of the members of our broadcasting club, Dante Nemeth. What is up, Dante? I know you're watching right now. I just want to wish you a happy birthday. I love you, man. Just met you this year. If you see Dante in the hallways, people watching, students watching, just tell them, happy birthday, Dante. We love you.
Happy birthday, Dante, and you'll see him back on the broadcast soon. I do believe he is on for Sunday afternoon against Father Judge. This was dropped back out as Conwell Egan has control of the ball. This one tipped along. Bonner Prendie able to gain control there, and their fast movement continues here with 7:20 to go. And ball is given back over to the near side, and a missed opportunity there for Conwell Egan to intercept it as that one's fired up. It's 34-18 now. Braden Martin fires it over there to Velez. Velez gives it over to Martin on the near side. Fires this one all the way up there to Miles Moore, who puts a shot up that goes off the outside of base because that one just didn't have enough height. Moving over to the near way now. It is Bonner Prendie with the ball. Prendie holding, dishes it down low, and gives it off there to Jackson, who takes a shot. That does it go? We find ourselves back out the other way at 6:42, 34-18 our score. This one in the corner there to Miles Moore. Moore holding, waiting. Gives it back off to Braden Martin on the outlet. Martin moving up with the ball. Martin dropping it off there to Antoine George. Gives it off to Miles Moore over to the other side, and this one fired into the corner. This one dropped down low, gathered, holding, and Moore waiting for the ball. Moore dancing out with it, and then a foul here with 6:18 to go. Let's remind you that Sunday's game has now been moved to 12 noon due to the snow. It will only be a varsity game, with the JV game being rescheduled on a different date.
Antoine George kind of showed a little bit what Conwell Egan needs to start doing. He hit them with a tough spin move and an easy pass to the corner. It's sad that shot wasn't made, and it was sad that that play and that drive didn't end up in a bucket as Antoine George is fouled on the layup.
All right, so you look at this team now, and you could say that Cole Zalewski was probably the leader of this team up until he went out for injury. who seems to be emerging as the team leader right now, guys?
For me, it's definitely looking like Miles Moore right now. His ball movement, his passing, his cutting, his shooting. He's looking really good right now, and he's looking like kind of looking like the leader of this group right now.
Mine's definitely Antoine George. He's been playing very well all game and is continuing to play well. He makes his second free throw.
All right, that second free throw puts them within 14 with 5:50 to go. Prendie holding the ball now. They're trying to dance into the key area. They're able to, but they have to pass the ball back out, then move this one around just a bit. This one fired into the corner, dishing up now. And then that one hits off the bottom part, and the net allows the Eagles now to move up with it the other way. There's Antoine George holding. George looking, waiting, trying to dance down low, get this shot up, but that one's just going to go a little bit too far. And then this one fired over to the other way. Here's Prendie, and that one rolls in and out of the basket, and then eventually sent out here. Conwell Eagle 5:20 to go.
Bonner has all the momentum in this game right now. Their crowd and their bench seems crazy and energetic.
Definitely energetic crowd. Their bench is fired up as well. Conwell Egan has become quiet over the past few minutes with 5 minutes to go. Let's put this back out, and then a timeout called here. So we look at this Conwell Egan team here, Shane, and what we've noticed is they're 8-5 on the season right now, so they're obviously better than where they were last year. How have they exceeded some of the preseason expectations that we were expecting from this team?
Yeah, from this team, you were seeing a lot of good things, some flaws, but mostly good things, especially shooting. I think we have a lot of good shooters on this team, especially from behind the arc. We also see a lot of height on this team. Everyone is pretty tall. I'm pretty sure everyone's over 6 foot except for Jared Velez. But, from this team, we just see a lot of offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, shooting, and I don't think really anyone expected them to come out this hot and to, be this good at shooting and also using their height to an advantage.
Brian, I definitely think that this team is only going to continue to grow over the next couple of years as they are young. And, if you have a coach that's going to be around for a little while with a young team, you continue to put pieces together. As we see a traveling violation here, and Conwell Egan only has opportunities to succeed over the next few years.
Yeah, there's definitely a young team with only 2 seniors on this team and a new coach this year, so we're definitely going to see more to come. I feel like the potential on this team, definitely a lot of it.
All right, and they take the traveling violation back after conferring out there on the court, and they make it a foul here against Conwell Egan. That one they're saying is going to go against Antoine George. Here's a shot off of that. It's a 3 that finds its way in. It's 37-20. Coach Tate not happy letting the referee hear it as he races down and staying in front of the bench, and Tate right there with him. That is something that you will see of Coach Tate is he's not afraid to let the referees know when they made a mistake, and he'll bark at them a little bit longer than maybe a little bit longer than he should. As you see Antoine George running out with the ball, and now a foul there.
We're also seeing a lot of play calls from Coach Tate, getting pretty angry there because they look unanswered. Hearing a lot of things like C, hook, Philly. Me personally, I don't know what they mean, but it looks like the players don't either. They're not really doing their plays and what they're supposed to do. So if I'm Coach Tate, I'm also getting angry because Conwell gets ball movement and their screens, pretty much everything is just looking kind of sloppy right now.
Yeah, definitely not a well put together second half right now for Conwell Egan. There are room for improvement. It's 37-22 after that foul attempt was made. Moving out there with the ball now is Prendie for 20 to go here. This one fired over on the right-hand side. Brought back over now to the near way. Giving off into the corners. There it is. Carroll with it. And we see a stoppage of play. What was that call there, Shane? I looked down for a second and just missed it.
Yeah, I also missed it too. But one thing that I did want to say is that earlier I said Jared Velez was an absolute beast on defense, and that's what we're seeing. Jared Velez is making these plays on defense, and although you don't really hear his name as scoring a lot, you definitely should look at him on defense and see just the effect he has on this team and how many stops he can get.
So maybe that unsung hero right now that we don't hear a whole lot of, as that one finds its way in 39-22. Moving up there with the ball now is Irby. Irby looking, fires it into the corner there to Antoine George. George looking, trying to find an open lane. He has to give it back out to Javelez, who underhands this one along. Brandon Martin with the ball now. He's waiting, gives it back off to Irby, and Irby giving directions to the calm down, 39-22, and we hear the Bonner Prendie crowd get a little bit louder with their defense chant that originally started with their bench. Isaiah Johnson gives it off there to Antoine George. George underhands it along there to Johnson. Johnson looking for the net. He fires that one up, and that miss gets made. It's 39-24.
Good bucket by Isaiah Johnson. But really, I think we need to keep passing around the arc and find that open man for a shot. Like I was saying, Braden Martin, the one who's going to fill the great Cole Zalewski's role. He should get more passes, find more open shots, and shoot that ball because we know already he's very good at it.
Guys, so your team's down by 15 right now. Obviously, you want to make those key passes. You want to make good shots. If you're Coach Tate, are you going to start trying to make more threes, or are you going to continue just to shoot for those twos?
In my opinion, down by 15, I think you just want to score, keep scoring. So I think you should just get more open, easy layups until you feel comfortable to start shooting threes, because you don't just want to break every three you shoot and just keep get more of a lead and just keep adding to that lead. So I would say just like keep getting easy shots until you start feeling comfortable, and then when you start feeling comfortable, maybe like a 5-point, little less lead with Bonner Prendie, then you start shooting those threes to get that lead.
I think high percentage shots is the key in this game. They need to drive to the basket because they're either going to get fouled or the basket is going to go in.
All right, we'll have a full timeout here, and with that, we'll take a full timeout on the Rewind Network. (40-24) with 2:52 to go here.
Another thing Egan needs to work on is definitely boxing out. Just like my coach Jim tells me, my friend Charlie Martell's dad, he coaches St. Mike's, my basketball team. You know, it's me, Steven Slivka, Jackson Dean, Charlie Martell, kind of the God squad right there. But, you know, Coach Jim always tells us box out, get that rebound offensively and defensively, and maybe we'll win some games.
Zavalez, this is off there to Irby, who gives it along there to Braden Martin, who fires this one down to Miles Moore. Moore takes a shot. He's fouled along the way, and he'll get 2 shots here. So shot from Moore there finds its way in, so it's 40-25. That one find its way in. So it's 40-26 now. Conwell Egan slowly crawling their way back into this one. This one over at the far way, holding, gets it right back off. That one fired down low. Intercepted, though, there by Miles Moore. Moore moving up with the ball. He falls down, though. He has the ball stripped from him, but he's able to get a handle on it. And we'll see a timeout here from Conwell Egan. A full timeout.
Miles Moore showing what we need to improve on here. Definitely hold on to that ball. Don't let Bonner Prendie just get some easy steals and add some further points to the lead right now.
What teamwork strategies are you going to use right now, guys, to bond with each other to climb your way back into this one?
Definitely energizing the starting players when you're on the bench. When you're on the bench, just energizing the starting players can make a player just feel good about themselves, have confidence in yourself. So definitely some teamwork there. Also, just better passing. Like I was saying earlier, just pass around that arc and finding that open man and just celebrating some shots. Just get this team and crowd energized.
Like I said before, in the beginning of the game, the bench is silent, and I feel like this is the first time I heard the bench silent all season. They've been energetic, and even if they were losing, I felt like they've been energetic, but this game is different.
A little bit different here as Jav Velez takes control, and if they want to compete against Fowler Judge on Sunday, they're going to have to be a lot louder. This one dished over. Isaiah Johnson, one arming, one out. Here's a triple attempt. That's going to hit off the basket. It's going to be kept in. It's swatted along, and it goes out on Bonner Prendie, and that was McClendon with it.
13, Antoine George. Also back in the league for Friars, number 1. Corey Francis and 35, Tyler Jackson.
Taking the inbound here will be Braden Martin with 2:04 to go here in the third. Martin gives it off there to Miles Moore. Moore looking. Gives it back out in front there to Jarrett Velez. Velez waiting as Coach Tate gives direction. He's going to go to the left-hand side. Hands it off now to Martin. Martin, though, gives it off there to Irby. And then Irby off to Miles Moore. Moore looking, waiting, gives it back off to Irby, and there you go, Shane. They're listening to you a little bit as they continue to move that ball around a little bit more. Irby dances this one down low, who gives it off there to Irby again, who takes a shot that just goes wide, and the ball is going to go out on Conwell Egan.
Yeah, they're finally moving that ball around a little better. Like we said earlier, when you don't have the ball moving around is definitely very important. You need to cut. That's so important in basketball. So you can find that man for an easy open shot or a little channel you can drive through and get an easy layup.
Moving out there with his Prendie. They fake his shot. Here goes a shot from the other way from Nelson. And that one's hauled in by the Eagles as they're going to move back up with it down to 1:07 to go. Giving direction there is Irby. Irby gives it off there to Braden Martin. Martin rolls it along there now. Isaiah Johnson gives it off there to Miles Moore, who pushes towards the net, who gets a shot off. That doesn't go. Moore goes down on the ground looking for a shot. Maybe embellished that one a little bit as he was looking for the foul. He didn't get it, and then we have a call coming from the referee behind the play.
Not to be very biased here, but to kind of be a little biased here, Miles Moore definitely had an uncalled foul there. That's all I wanted to say.
A little hometown calling for you here as you have Bonner Prendie with control now. It's Jackson who fires it over. This one fired out into the corner. Getting right back out and onto the hands there of Francis. Francis takes a shot that comes from a long way out. And that one gathered and moved up now by the Eagles. And that one dropped down low. There's Johnson. Johnson fires one in, and it's 40-28.
Some good ball movement there. Very good pass, showing what they need to continue to do to get this win.
Bonner Prendie looking. They're going to try to move the ball around the perimeter just as the Eagles were. Carroll a little confused by that as he was called back there by Jackson. Jackson waiting. He's being pressured there by Irby. He's going to come along to the near side down the final 5 seconds. This will fire into the corner. There's a shot that's blocked by Martin. A rebound's going to go over, and that is how we'll end this third quarter. So it's 40-28. We have one more quarter to play, and with that, we'll take a quick break here on your Eagle Eye Network.
At the end
All right,
of
back
the
here. It is the quarter. It is 40-28. Go ahead, Steve.
At the end of the third quarter, we heard energy from Conwell Egan's bench. They were hyped up after the block to end the quarter, and let's see if they transfer that energy into the fourth quarter.
All right, Braden Martin dished it off there to Antoine George, who takes a personal foul there, Isaiah Johnson. Shane, who would you say, which player would you say for the Conwell Egan Eagles are holding their composure well thus far?
Yeah, I'd definitely say Jared Velez. And you see this a lot, too, because he doesn't really get time for an open shot a lot of the time, especially with his height. You know, like he can't really drive in. But you see him getting energized still. You see him getting back on defense, even if he messes up. Even if he messes up, you know, he still gets back on defense very easily. And he still tries his hardest. And he never really just crumbles down, and he's always just, like, standing up.
Right, and he's not a player who normally fails, and if he does fail, it normally turns into a bad game for Conwell Egan. Moving out there with the ball was Antoine George, gives it off to Johnson, and then gets it right back. Miles Moore fakes a shot as he goes into the paint area and tries to one-hand this one along as he dives through into the padded wall in the back. Well, I'm not saying that this is Antoine George at all, but we do know that there are these types of players on the team. If you're a player who has a teammate that is about themselves, trying to get themselves a basket and not really following that game plan, how do you play with that player first off, and how do you do so without, showing the anger out there on the court?
Yeah, right. So if someone is playing kind of selfish, trying to do everything they can by themselves, mostly you kind of just have to move without the ball and find an open shot. And even if they don't pass it to you, still just get energized and just tell them to keep trying. But at the same time, maybe after the game, say like, hey, I was open a lot of times, and maybe if you're driving and I'm in the corner, just I'll screen the corner and get back. Teamwork is definitely a very important thing, maybe the most important thing in basketball. You can't just have a whole team of 5 very selfish people because you'll get blown out every game. Teamwork is the best thing of this game. It's the most important thing in this game. And teamwork pretty much, like I said, it's just the most important thing.
Definitely teamwork, working together, and I think that goes with anything, not necessarily just in sports, but in life as well. As this was dropped along now to Irby. Irby moving up over there on the far way. Irby trying to come over to the near side now. This was dropped off to Isaiah Johnson. Johnson get it back off to Miles Moore. Moore looking, waiting, trying to find an open spot as he's a little trapped there. He does find Antoine George as George is going to race up with it. George pauses just below the basket. Gives it back out now to the perimeter, and then it's given along there. The fans of Bonner Prendie looking for a call. They're not going to get it. Irby moving up with it. He one-hands it along here. This will dish back out to Jared Velez. Velez pauses, gives it off to Moore, and Moore looking as they're going to continue to pass the ball around. This one fired over into the corner, faking a shot there. And it's eventually set back down low. Isaiah Johnson holding, and he's going to lose it, and then it's gathered. And we have the referee from far behind making a call here.
If I'm Coach Tate, I'm definitely going to encourage my players to keep moving good without the ball, but with the ball, they seem to kind of fall down with the ball and just kind of crumble, not know where to go with the ball. But just moving good without the ball, partnered with moving good with the ball, you're going to make some amazing plays and get some easy points on that offense.
I hear some frustration here on Conwell Egan's fans and sideline as that foul was called.
5:24 here, Bonner Prendie in control with it. Prendie looking, waiting. It is into the hands there of Jackson. And then we finally have a whistle.
Very good defense by Isaiah Johnson, showing what Conwell Egan needs to do. Just play some good defense. He was playing with his legs there, shuffling a lot, not using his hands at all, not getting any fouls. Just showing what Conwell Egan needs to do. Just play with your legs. Don't swat, don't foul. Just get a clean defense. As Brandon Martin takes a shot and shows what he can do. Bang, bang. Shows that he can take both role as a three-shooter on the team.
There's a three there, 42-33, and Conwell Egan could get back into this one. Bonner Prendie holding, they're racing towards the net. They drop it down low. Martin tried to get a block off, but that's not going to go. 44-33, and they're back up by 11. Antoine George with the ball now. George dancing in. He fires on the up, but it hits off the backboard and back down.
Conwell Egan definitely improving from that first half. But, they've definitely got some points as something that looked like a foul was not called there. Luckily, the shot was missed. But as I was saying, pretty much all we need to do is just get some more shots around that perimeter.
Your soul will come back with a better performance here. We've got a lot going on up here with various different things. What was the turning point, do you think, for them to get themselves back into this game?
Yeah, turning point was definitely better passing around the perimeter offense. Just seeing a lot of, really good passes. In the first half, it kind of looked like they were playing hot potato almost. Just like they kept fumbling the ball, were making good passes. But now, even without the ball, they're just running around, making good passes. No more hot potato. And just keep doing that. Find an open man, find an open channel, just drive the layup and get that easy three.
I feel like Conwell Egan's ball movement has been very good. We just cannot find open shots here.
44-34, down by 10 with 3:48 to go. 3 fouls for Conwell Egan, 2 for Bonner Prendie. They're going to move up slow with the ball. Jackson with it, gives it all to the near side there to Francis. Francis fires it over to the far way, and we see Nelson back out there, who's been relatively quiet in this second half. Jackson with control. He races towards it, and that's a nice play there. That is 46-34 now with Miles Moore with control. Moore looking. Going back down low. One hands this one along. Rebound gathered and fired back in. Back down by 10.
Conwell Egan's offense definitely improving from that first half. But, it kind of doesn't mean anything at this point when the defense is letting Bonner Prendie just get easy shots. I feel like they need to start playing in the paint more. As an N1 is called. Exactly what I'm talking about. Just play better defense in that paint.
I think we talk about this with any kind of team. You have, what any sport really. Your offense works and your defense doesn't. What causes that fall off between the two, and how do you make sure that they work together if you're a coach?
Yeah, so sometimes when you're performing good on offense, you get too confident in yourself and you don't really try on defense, and then you kind of get embarrassed, and then you're like, well, what did I do wrong? Well, what you did wrong is really just you're getting too confident. You gotta lock in. You gotta get in that mindset. Like, okay, I just did something good. I just moved the ball well. I made a good shot. So what am I gonna do to keep those points unanswered and not let anyone get in my way and not let anyone get in the way of my team and come in here and get points on us.
It's a thinking game here. Moving along there now is Antoine George with the ball. 49-36 here. The shot from George. It's not going to go, and it's going to be corralled by Prendie. Intercepted there, though, as they had Nelson back behind the play. Irby moving up with the ball. Fires this one into the corner. This one. Here's a shot that goes off, but it's going to hit off the outside of the rim, and it's going to be Miles Moore who's going to try to gain control once more. Moore looking. Holding and waiting as he puts pressure on Francis there. Francis, though, able to find an open outlet over the near way, and then eventually dish back off there down to Jackson. Jackson moving in with it. He loses it momentarily, but he's able to get it back, and we'll see a timeout here again for the Friars. And with that timeout, we'll take a timeout here on your Eagle Eye Network. 2:12 to go here. 49-36 our score with Conwell Egan trailing. This one brought along now to Francis. Francis matched up against Moore here. And he'll fire it over there now to Jackson. Jackson holding goes along to the near side. Moore moving up, trying to block off the right-hand side to prevent him from getting the ball over there to Jackson is Moore. Moore waiting, trying not to foul too much. There's the one down here, and then Coach Tate gives the direction to foul there. So it's now 5 fouls for Conwell Egan, 2 for Bonner Prendie with 1:46 to go.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, we didn't see from that play a lot of shuffling. We saw more swatting with our hands. I think we just need to play defense with our feet more. Just keep shuffling. Don't let them get past you, and don't let them find that easy pathway to get to the rim.
You definitely don't want to allow them to find an easy pass, as it's 50-36 now.
So, Doc, Mr. Luby was talking about a girls' game on Tuesday. Who do you think from that girls' team will get Conwell Egan another win on Tuesday?
So I think that girls' team does, so do the boys, but the girls' team does do an outstanding job of, each one of them contributing in different ways. And if I had to pick a couple of them, I think I would pick Lily Maluski, who we saw get her career 1,000 point earlier this year. Brianna Jackson is doing a good job as well. And Charlie Bennett, who is very well like that Jarrett Velez of this boys team, who comes in, is able to pass the ball around well. She doesn't get a whole lot of shots off, but she is that person that is on that team that is able to help them move the ball a little bit easier. So I think, at least for them, it's a working process together, as we do see here. But I do think if I had to highlight three, it would be those. So we see Father Judge coming in here hopefully on Sunday as the snow totals continue to change a little bit here in the city. We did move it up for the Eagles game, now for the snow. If you're Coach Tate, what kind of strategy do you have going against your old team?
So if I'm Coach Tate, I'm definitely going to say defense. I mean, defense was definitely looking bad in the first half. So was the offense, but the only thing we looked like we really adjusted was the offense. The defense has kind of been the same inconsistently the whole game. Just very inconsistent defense. The only thing that's been consistent this whole game is the defense being poor. So if I'm Coach Tate, I definitely want to work on our defense, especially in the paint. Don't let anyone overpower you to get an easy bucket, because those easy buckets can definitely count towards the game, even just like a little jump and putting it in the basket, it seems like, oh, okay, he got an easy layup. But you look at that scoreboard, like you're adding 2 points, and that can happen all the time, just easy buckets. So just like this one right here, just easy bucket, easy pass. You don't think it'll impact them much, but it definitely can.
I'm interested to see it. I want to ask Coach Tate this a little bit later. Coach Tate is still a history teacher at Father Judge. So I wonder if there's any players on that opposite side that maybe he teaches, and did he get any kind of inside information on, how to defend them or play a little bit better against them?
I mean, I think that definitely might be cheating, but if he wants to do that, he can definitely go ahead.
We'll call it scouting, not cheating.
Whatever you say, Doc.
52-38, here's a shot. That doesn't find its way. I can tell you that as a former baseball coach, I have done this. I have taught at a school that I did not coach at and coached at a different school that played up against them. We did a little bit of scouting. It's not cheating, just a little inside information, that's all. That's a drop there to Braden Martin. Martin gives it off there to Miles Moore. His team right now, 53-38, down to the final 47 seconds of this game. Moving this one up here, it hits off the side of that backboard, and a rebound left out there. And then we will see a jump ball and a possession to Bonner Prendie.
Definitely some selfish plays by Conwell Egan, not really passing that ball. I saw 3 people open on that play that couldn't get that ball. But, you just got to deal with it and just see how that can affect next game and see how you can better yourself for that next game.
I don't know. You're telling it like it is up here, Shane. You might not be the popular guy after this one. Although we were thinking it, right? Some selfish plays down there. You need to pass the ball a little bit more. You need to stop driving in the net early and, find that open man and give it the ball to the person that has that best angle to the basket. That one doesn't go, so it remains 53-38. That one makes its way in, so it's 54-38 down to the final 35 seconds. Antoine George moving up with the ball. This is over there to Isaiah Johnson. He has that one blocked aside by the Friars as the Friars are holding and gives it back off. Friars firing it over. They're waiting. 22 seconds to go to get right back. Here's a long pass there to Francis, who's just going to kind of take control and wait and let that clock dwindle down. And that is how we are going to end this basketball game. So it'll be a final score of 54-38 with Conwell Egan taking the ball. So, Shane, this was your first time up here as a color commentator. We've been trying to do it for a while, and you weren't too happy about it. What'd you think after your first game here tonight?
I definitely liked it. I mean, intermission, not going to lie, it's a little bit boring sometimes. But up here, you definitely get a very good view. You can just talk about the game. My favorite teacher, somewhat, but it's pretty fun up here. I'm definitely going to try and do it more.
Somewhat. I think you're just looking for extra credit before midterms, but that's okay. What's your prediction for this Father Judge game on Sunday?
Oh, Father Judge. Father Judge is definitely known for being a very good basketball team. And, all I really got to say is that if Conwell Egan plays how they did today, might not look very good. Definitely just need to work on some defense there. Offense definitely improved in that second half, but it wasn't good enough to get a win. Really, I just want to work. I think Coach Tate just tell the players, especially in practice, to just work on everything they can to beat this hard opponent. But if I'm being honest, I think defense is definitely something to really, really focus on in practice.
All right, as long as everything goes well, the weather holds off, and he's able to make it. Brother Jim Williams, a teacher at Father Judge High School, has been a long mentor to me throughout my time, both as a student and as an educator. Will join us for a little bit on Sunday's broadcast. We're looking forward to that, as he's wise, has a lot of wisdom, and a former successful basketball coach at North Catholic himself. So I'm Dan Connor, Shane Morrow, and Steve Slifka working down on the sideline. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll hopefully see you Sunday at noon.
Happy birthday,